What's up gamers, in today's video I'm going to be talking about which 4-star character you should pick in the upcoming Lantern Rite event. I know that there are a lot of people that want to know what constellations are worth and who to prioritize over another, so that's why I'm making this video. Anyway, since I hate long intros and I know you probably do too, let's get straight into the video. So let's start off with the first character on this list, Beidou. Now Beidou is a super strong electro sub DPS. Her burst creates a shield and does electro damage. This applies a bunch of electro that can help with proccing different reactions like aggravate and electro charge. It bounces around enemies and can bounce even more if you get her 4th constellation, doing a lot more damage. Her skill just does damage, it gives energy, and can parry attacks if you time it right. That's her overall kit, and if you have her at C1 and you like her, then C2 will help her do a lot of damage since it allows her burst to jump to 2 more enemies, and this results in a significant DPS increase. Her C6 is also pretty good since it decreases electro resistance of the enemies, and since she's electro, it can also improve her damage. Overall, she's a super good support, she's amazing in AoE at C0, and C2 just makes her even better. Now for Chongyun. He's a cryo support. He basically allows anyone to become a cryo character because of his elemental skill. He isn't used that much and isn't really a meta character, but with the release of Xinyan, things might change since he has a pretty high plunge attack multiplier, and guess what she buffs? Plunges. Now if his playstyle is just for you and you just love cryo characters and you plan on using him in a lot of your teams, his C2 decreases the cooldown of the elemental skill or burst of the character inside the circle that his skill creates. Their elemental skill or burst cooldown is decreased by 15%, and this can help with a little bit more damage and faster rotations, but it's still not one I would recommend you go for over the others. If you just want him because you don't have him, then I guess he has another use case because of his passive that increases the normal attack speed of a claymore or a polearm character, but he doesn't compare to the other supports that we have in the game, but the choice is yours. The next character I'm going to be talking about is Ningguang. Now Ningguang is a Geo DPS, and just by me saying those words alone, I know that a lot of people are gonna be skeptical about picking her. Nonetheless, she isn't really a 4-star that people would use, especially in the current Abyss, and also, since a lot of the Geo characters don't work well with other characters of another element, Ningguang doesn't really shine in the meta. Because of Navia, I guess you can use her now and slot her into a team like this, but other than that, I wouldn't recommend picking Ningguang unless you don't have her and want her really bad. With that said, if you're looking for constellations, then C6 will help her do a lot more damage since you can do charge attacks after using her burst. C2 is also pretty good since it gives you another Jade screen after the previous one has been destroyed. Overall, I would recommend either her C1 or her C6. Now for the real deal, Xiangling. So basically, Xiangling is broken. She's a sub DPS that can actually out DPS some of the 4-star main DPS characters we have currently available. Her burst is super strong, especially with vapes, and it does so much damage. She's one of the faces of the national team, which is a team that consists of her, Xingqiu, Bennett, and a main DPS of your choice. Now, if you're a new player that literally just started the game, do not pick Xiangling. This is because you get her for free in the Spiral Abyss. Plus, anyone with more than 1 brain cell and 4 characters can beat these early stage of the Abyss. But if that's not the case and you want to know if her constellations are worth it, I would say that her C4 is one you should 100% pick up. This is because it increases her Pyronado's duration by 40%, and this is absolutely huge for her damage. If you have her at C3, then I would recommend picking Xiangling, especially if you have everyone on this list and you just want to get constellations. Also, if you're on C1 or C2, I would still recommend you try to get her to C4. But overall, Xiangling is a really good character that gets even better with constellations, and her C4 is one that I would 100% recommend you pick up. Now for Xinyan. Xinyan is a terrible character and one I would not recommend you to pick or even build. This is just because of how terrible she is. You can build her as a shielder and her shield will be trash. You can build her as a physical carry and her damage will be trash. Just don't build her or pick her up. But if you don't care about anything I just said, then go for her. If you like her, then get her, because I'm not stopping you, and I guess you can get her C4, which decreases the physical resistance of the enemies. Oh yeah, if you're enjoying the video, why not like, subscribe, and join my Discord down below. I'm getting closer to 1,000 subscribers, and you can help me reach my goal with just 1 click. Also, if you're a new player looking for a place to have fun and talk about Genshin stuff, my Discord is a great place to be because we do all of that, and me and a few other people can help you with all of the problems you're currently facing in Genshin Impact. Anyway, time to talk about someone that is 3 million times better than Xinyan. The second Yelan, Xingqiu. Xingqiu is basically a 5-star because of how good he is and how he fits into so many different teams. His kit is also just amazing and it helps the team so much. He creates a rain sword that does hydro damage every time the on-field character normal attacks, and they also provide damage reduction and healing. He does so much for a 4-star and applies a lot of hydro, making him a super good 4-star. And if you don't have him and you had to pick between him and everybody else on this list, I would say pick him. If you you want to get his constellations, his best one is his C6, and that's one I'd recommend you get. And also his C2 because it's pretty good. All his constellations are really good, so if getting any of them help and get him closer to his C6, which is definitely his best constellation, he's one of the most useful 4-stars in the entire game, and you can use him in almost every single team. He's a character that I wanted for a very long time as a new player, and one that I would recommend everyone should have built. But that's it for him. Now for the next character on this list, Yanfei. She's a pyro main DPS catalyst that actually does a decent amount of damage. She's not close to the likes of Hu Tao and Lenny, but for a 4-star she's pretty good, and she gets better with constellations. You can try and get Yanfei if you don't have her, and I would urge you to get characters that you don't have over constellations. Speaking of constellations, the only one that I can really recommend is her C4, because it allows her to make a pyro shield that's good since it can protect her, but it's definitely not a constellation worth going for, especially if you can get someone like Xiangling C4 and Xingqiu C6. Now, let's talk about Yunjin. She's an amazing Geo support character that heavily buffs normal attacks. She's super good for Yoimiya, Ayato, and basically anyone that uses normal attacks. She's actually a really good character that I would recommend you to use if you're planning on using any of the characters I listed before. But do note that that's the only time you'll be using Yunjin, meaning that she's not as flexible as the other characters. Now for her constellations. Her C2 is a really good one since it gives a bigger buff to the normal attacks. Her C6 is also really good, but again, if you don't have her but have everyone else listed before, then you should get her. Now for Yao Yao. She's a super good 4-star Denjo healer and has found her way into many different Denjo teams. She's super good at what she does and is really good at supporting the team. She's definitely one of the better 4-star options on this list and has pretty good constellations. For example, her C1 is good because it gives Denjo damage bonus to her teammates, and this is especially useful for other characters like Alhaitham and Nahida. Her C6 and C4 are also really good, and if you don't have Yao Yao, then she's definitely a good pick. Lastly, we have Gaming. He isn't out yet, but he looks like a pretty solid pyro DPS character. I feel like a lot of people are going to want to go for him, especially since he's new, and he actually looks pretty promising. I myself am going to pick him because I simply like his design and his name because it's funny and looks like the English word gaming. But since he isn't out yet, I'm not really going to be talking about what he does and his constellations. But my overall thoughts are that you should definitely pick a character that you don't have over constellations, because I just feel like that's more valid for your account strength. The top 5 best options here are Xingqiu, Xiangling, Yao Yao, Gaming, and Beidou. If you enjoyed this video, please consider liking, subscribing, and joining my Discord. I would really appreciate it, and you can do all that with just one click. Let me know down in the comments below who you're going to pick, and I hope that you make the right choice. Thanks for watching. Bye.